Hi everyone, I work in software testing for more than 15 years, so I have pretty much good understanding of this area as a profession. So today I'm going to review some requirements for manual QA positions in order to help you guys, beginners in this area, to understand what this profession is about, what skills do you need to have. So let's see what do they want you to know or what are the requirements. So I found a couple of positions on LinkedIn. And today I'm not going to talk about QA automation positions because it's kind of raising the bar for the entry-level positions. So let's start with manual QA position requirements. So the first one is this one. So here it goes: company description, benefits, starting salary, summary. The manual QA engineer will be responsible for ensuring the quality of the software product and services, designing and executing, maintaining manual QA tests. Okay, this position will be involved in the entire life cycle, from requirements gathering and test planning to test case execution and bug tracking. Okay. So let's take a look at the duties and responsibilities. First one, develop, document, and maintain high quality test plans and test cases. So basically it means that you will receive a task to, for example, to test some search panel on some website in the product that the company is producing, the software product, I mean, and it either can be in the form of a Word document, but most likely it will be just a short task description in some task management system as Jira. So what you have to do, you will need to analyze the requirements, understand the feature. In our case, it's, for example, search bar feature, and write test cases. So how does it look like in real life? In most cases, company will already have some test management system. This is example of TestRail test management system. And here you will be writing test cases. For example, this one for search, it's search test set. So basically, how does the test look like? Executions. Let's go to test cases. Search. So here you will, what exactly you will be doing, or you should be doing? You will be creating test cases. You will write name for test case. So let's say search. Do not enter anything and press enter. Then search, enter one word and press enter. Enter one word and click on find button. So this is what it means to write tests or test cases, and here you can organize and in any other test management system you can organize them in test sets to manage, like to organize it to group of tests. Then you will go and write detailed test steps for example, see, for example, here there is a search bar, steps. First, open in a browser, just for the sake of this example. Second, on the top right corner, enter let's say search. In a search bar, click on enter. Press enter. Press enter, and the third step will be check that only the tests that contain word search is displayed as a result. So something like that. Save test case. Let's go and try to test it. Search. Press enter. See more. So something like that. So this is what it means. Develop, document, maintain high quality test plans and test cases. Execute manual tests. So execution means that after you will write down everything with detailed steps, you will go and execute those. And execution means test runs results. Execution means that you basically need to perform the tests besides. So on the first step, you will just describing the steps, but you will not performing or executing those. And you kind of, when you describe all the tests, you basically building your test plan with test cases. And then you will have, after the feature is delivered, is implemented, you will go and execute each and every test and provide result passed, if it result passed or failed. If something is wrong, you will create a bug. So basically bugs are being created in a similar system when you describe steps to reproduce and everything. So this is what test cases creation and execution means. Current test plans, test cases, identify, analyze, and document defects, questionable functions, error, and inconsistencies. So basically, it means that you should know how to describe defects, that you should write summary, detailed steps to reproduce, attach screenshot, provide any other details. You can provide like some additional logs or something, but the main point here that you should be able to describe the behavior in details and give clear steps to reproduce for developers who will be fixing it and trying to analyze it. The next one, monitor bug resolution efforts and track successes. So after you will create a bug, project manager will assign it to developers. He will fix it. Again, it will be in a form of some task in task management system, something like Jira, I'm not going to dive into it today, but after it will be resolved and fixed, that task will be assigned back to you, meaning that it will be on your name. For example, here's the assigned to field. Regardless that this is a test, anyway, it will be a task. So somebody will attach something to you. You will receive notification that it requires your attention. It means that it's fixed, and you will have to go and check that it's not reproducible anymore, that it's fixed, that functionality works as expected. That's how you ensure that, that's how you track bugs resolution. Collaborate with other departments to ensure the quality of the software. So this is just a generic description of all of your activities as a QA engineer. It doesn't really mean anything specific, because when you create test cases, when you execute them, basically you are ensuring the quality of the software. Stay up to date with emerging testing tools and technologies. This means that basically also doesn't mean anything specific, because usually you will use whatever tools the company is using for writing test cases. Some companies can use TestRail tool. Some companies will use something else like Qtest or something. So basically it means that you should be able, you should have understanding or grasp how all of the systems work, and basically if you know how to work with one of them, it's pretty the same experience with all others. So again, this one also doesn't have anything doesn't mean anything specific. Provide feedback to the development team on usability, design, and product performance. This one also basically goes down to reporting bugs or consistent behavior. If you see something, you create a bug or suggestion for improvement, whatever it can be called. So nothing new here. So in this position, basically I see that you will have to write test cases, you will have to apply your analytical skills in order to provide the good amount of test cases for the feature. For example, for this search bar functionality, test cases, what do I mean by saying apply analytical skills? Is that you should think about test case, all the possible test cases, like do not enter anything, press enter, enter one word, press enter, it will be separate test. Then do not enter characters, enter only numbers, it will be separate a set. So this means to apply analytical skills. And you can always search on Google what are the checklists for input fields, for example. Mobile input fields, input controls, testing checklists. Input fields, testing. Web form testing. Did that. Form fields drop downs. Verify the input fields are visible, drop down list, placeholder, validation error. Okay, so bottom line is if you cannot come up with test cases by yourself, or you have doubts about the coverage of the tests that you can come up with, you can always Google it. Usually there are a lot of ready to use checklists and everything, so nothing really difficult till now. Okay, let's take a look at the next one, if we will see something new in here. Manual key engineer, wide range of salary, company description, role. In this role you will be responsible for building, execute and test cases. Basically the same, to ensure functionality, performance, usability. So for performance, there is usually a separate position in companies who do performance testing, or it's being managed by the developers themselves. But anyway, from your side, the goal is to report any slowdowns in the website or something like that if you see it. So see something, report something. I mean, create bug in Jira task management system, bug management system. Usability is the same. If some fields look or something doesn't look right for you on a website when you are testing the feature, create a bug. So all of this about creating test cases and creating bugs in case of unexpected behavior. You will work as part of quality automation organization. You will be tasked helping build scalable blah blah blah. How you make an impact. We are looking for people who have 3+ years of professional experience, preferably with Android OS, apps, and devices, preferably. So for this, basically, honestly speaking, for me, the test engineer, it doesn't really matter if I test web, something on web in a browser or on the Android device. In the meaning that all the approaches are the same. You see button, you test button. You see input field, you test input field. You see, basically you should test every element that you see on the screen. So in this meaning, it doesn't really, it has no difference if it's mobile app or web app. The intentions and goals are always the same. And approaches are the same. For mobile applications, there might be some specific additional test cases, like to see how the application behaves when you put the phone on lock, when you turn off the screen, when you change the orientation and everything. But again, it's more like about usability. Functional testing is about checking that the application is performing its general functions. Like, again, if there is a search bar in the application, regardless if it's on the web or on the mobile app, you should be able to enter search criteria, click on search, and see the relevant results. So this is what this functional testing is about. Host and knowledge common black box software testing methodologies, tools, and processes. So here black box means that usually you don't have you don't have access to the source code of the application, and you don't know how it works internally. And honestly speaking, you don't need this type of knowledge in order to use the app or to test the app. So when you don't have any knowledge of how the program is developed or works internally, in software testing it's called black box testing, because you don't see what's inside. Basically that's the idea of the name, behind this name. So methodologies, tools, and processes, it means that you should understand the software testing methodology. What is test plan, test cases, test plans, test sets, what is test report, what is traceability requirements, traceability methods, and so on and so on and so on. So you should study the theoretical part. For tools and processes, this test trail will be one of the tool, task management system will be another tool. So basically everything that using for work, all of them are tools. Processes, also it means that usually there are established processes for software testing, for creating a bug, like to whom you should be assigning it, to developers directly or to the project manager. So basically, but they will let you know all the processes, so we'll get you familiar with all the processes the company is using during your onboarding and everything. So again, nothing really new behind this line. It's just a generic statement. Have experience in testing hardware devices. So sometimes in some specific companies, probably like this one, there is also not only, you will be testing not only a software, but some physical devices, like for example, Apple Watch or something. It can be any kind of hardware device. Next one, holds knowledge of Android development tools such as Android Studio, ADB. Well, if you will be testing something for mobile, yes, you will have to need this knowledge, but in reality it goes down to just knowing a couple of commands that you will run in terminal. And usually you can ask developers about those commands, so ready to run scripts, whatever it will be. So this is something that can be obtained or asked from developers. Nothing scary here. Have the ability to identify root causes for defects and provide meaningful feedback. So the thing is that in order to identify the root cause, you will have to know how the application works internally. So here they're saying about black box testing, but at the same time they're saying about identifying root causes for defects. So it contradicts each other, and identifying root causes for defects, it's basically developer's job. Not QA job, because from the user's perspective you only can provide steps to reproduce and that's it. To fix the bug itself and to analyze what caused it, it's pure developer's job. So, but they like to put it in the requirements again in order to underline that you must have some analytical mindset. But in reality, it will be developer's responsibility, not yours. So ignore this one. Hold strong communication, interpersonal skills. Self-explanatory, I guess. Have experience with QA tools such as TestRail I showed you as an example here. So it's just test management tool when you write test case, organize test cases, execute them, provide results like passed or failed. Jira Confluence, I'm not going to show them. Bonuses, STQB level certification, blah blah blah. For this one, basically it means that you will have to know, again, software testing theory. And let's take a look at one more. What do we have here? Quality assurance analysts. You see, in some companies it's called manual QA tester, in some it's called QA engineer, in some it's called analyst. Okay, we are seeking for professional QA analyst to join our family, blah blah blah. Job description, work in a embedded agile Scrum team. So agile means that it will be time boxes for tasks. You will be working in kind of sprints, 2 weeks time boxes. Each sprint will have beginning and the end. There will be some activities at the beginning of each sprint and at the end every 2 weeks, like sprint planning, tasks clarification, asking questions and so on. But again, you can look it up online, you can Google it. So basically it's about the processes that company are using, and they will tell you, explain you in details during onboarding what are the processes, where to follow. In most cases it will be described somewhere. Collaborating with developers, yeah, for sure, because you will be creating bugs assigned to them. That's called collaboration. QA stakeholders emphasize defect prevention. Honestly, you cannot prevent defects, only find them in most cases. Usability, functional enhancement throughout the software development, and all of the enhancements they should usually they should go from the whole team. When you will try to do any kind of enhancement by yourself, but team doesn't want to do any enhancements, it will be a waste of your time, in my experience. So again, just a generic description doesn't mean anything. Conducting test planning, test design. Test design means creating test cases. Test scripting, let's say, describe detailed steps inside those tests. Manual test execution with a test lifecycle. Test lifecycle basically means that there will be they will tell you that we need this testing to be done on this date, and you will have 3 days. That's what test lifecycle means. Use test methodologies that ensure exhaustive and comprehensive testing. So besides, let's say, using your own brain to come up with a list of test scenarios, there are some specific tests. There are some test design techniques that can be used, like pairwise testing, boundary value analysis, and so on and so on and so on. But again, it's just a theoretical part of software testing. You can read them, understand them. It's not a rocket science. Overstand application solutions established against established acceptance criteria. So acceptance criteria means that everything functions as it should. So if you write tests and you expect, like for search bar, it will show only relevant test results that contain search word or any word that you were looking for. If it works as expected, it means that it satisfies acceptance criteria. It's just a different terminology for the same things. Monitor program performance after implementation to prevent reoccurrence. I don't know how they want you to do that, because many of the responsibilities: writing tests, executing tests, monitoring performance. Probably they have some monitoring tools for the application and production, but I doubt that. Again, it's just a generic phrase in most cases that you should think how to prevent bugs, but again, developers should be thinking about it in the first place. Create, modify scripts to analyze, extract data. I think here they will have some scripts or instructions to run to get some data from backend or something, and usually it will be provided in the form of instruction or how to do it with detailed description. So nothing to be scared of in here as well. And sometimes you need to validate something on the database level, validate some data. Sometimes you don't. So don't be worried too much about this one. Consistently follow and support documented QA processes and procedures. again, it's all the same. Just follow the processes. If they say that you should organize tests and test sets, create test runs, execute, provide status for each and every test, that's what it means. Following processes and established procedures. Troubleshoot, document and assist in root causes analysis. So about assistant, sometimes you will create bugs, describe bugs that will be reproducible only on your laptop, but for some reasons developers will not be able to reproduce it. So they will ask you to provide more clear steps to reproduce, or try to reproduce it on their machine, or try to reproduce it in another browser, not only in Chrome, Safari, or something else. So that's what assistance means in this case. Just be a team player. If somebody asks you to help them to do some additional testing, just assist them. This is what this line means. Be an advocate for application quality for our customers. Yeah. So basically that's it for this video. So what I wanted to show you, to let you know that it's always for manual QA position. It usually goes down to writing test cases, think through test cases, execute them, and follow the established rules and processes within the company. Okay guys, so let's summarize. What skills are needed? First, analytical mindset to analyze requirements, user stories or tasks in whatever form the tasks will be given to you. They will have different kind of details. Sometimes it will not have details at all, so you need to think it through, come up with a list of test cases and so on. So this item, come up with a list of test cases. Next one, next skill, attention to details. In order to do not miss any test cases, to describe everything in as much details as possible, to follow defined processes. So you need to be able to read all how-tos and instructions carefully and follow everything in detail, step by step. Next one, do not be afraid to ask questions. So regardless if you are extrovert or an introvert, you will have to ask questions to clarify requirements, or to ask for help or additional explanations from developers or other QA team members. Next one, patience and perseverance to do repetitive actions tasks, because you will be performing, executing the same tests again and again, let's say every 2 weeks. Next one, patience to your colleagues, because not always and not everyone will be polite with you or won't be willing to help you and answer questions. So you need treat your colleagues carefully. Sometimes you will have to work with difficult people and so on. So it always quite often in QA, honestly speaking. Also, patience are needed to follow defined processes and procedures, as mentioned, in attention and details. So you will have to follow the processes whether you like them or not. Sometimes some steps for some processes within the company will not make any sense to you, but anyway, you should be able to follow the process whether you like it or not. Next one, good communication skills to formulate your questions or inquiries in a polite, clear, and concise manner, and to provide easy to read summary results or testing status. Next one, to be a quick learner, to be ready to study new areas quickly, to be ready to learn something new every day. You will be given with tasks to test many different areas besides functional testing. And besides functional testing, I mean you will not be always testing some obvious or easy to understand functionalities like search bar or logging into the website, logging out. Sometimes it will take you will have to dive deeper. Sometimes in order to do something, you will need to take a look at the internal web page source structure, find out details about separate web elements. For example, some classes styling or for some web elements has been changed, and since it's a code change, it will have to be tested and will go to you for testing. Sometimes you will have to look at the network tab in a browser to find API requests that are being sent from the web page. So it's some more pure technical stuff. So there will be different kind of tasks given for you for testing, and you must be ready to learn quick. Next one, natural curiosity, I would say, and ability to understand how the things works, what is the logic behind some things, because not always all the logic behind some feature will be described in details in task definition. So you need to be able to think it through, and for this you will basically willing to have kind of natural curiosity. So my recommendations to you who are starting this area will be before enrolling in any paid courses or QA schools, study computer science fundamentals first. You should clearly understand what is a file system, what is the difference between files and folders, what is a browser. There are a few different browsers, but all of them are doing essentially the same, allow you to view web pages and how to use them, what is an operating system, and so on. So you should have pretty much good understanding about how overall computers, laptops works, how different components interact with each other on the operating system level. It's not a rocket science, but it will require time from your side to invest just to read and understand it. And usually, from what I see, all those QA schools and courses don't teach you those basics, but it's essential to know such things to work as a QA. Next one, next advice, study how to perform search effectively on Google and YouTube. 99% of your questions are already being answered in the internet, because from what I see, some students don't even try to search anything on Google. They in those schools, for example, they are expecting that the instructor or teacher or tutor will explain everything to them, but in most cases everything is available online. Just Google it, read it. If you don't like one explanation, find another article or another YouTube video with better explanations that will work for you. So don't be afraid to search everything. Again, it will you will have to invest time in it, but yeah, it's also a skill to be able to find something on the internet effectively. And among everything else, study how to work with Google Docs and Sheets, how to share documents, how to create new documents, so this kind of basics. So basically that's it for this video. See you next time.